I would like to start by telling you a story of something that happened last year. I was in the backyard with some friends talking about life goals. You know how it is, everyone sharing their hopes and dreams over one of those small pretend-to-be fireplaces. My friends shared thoughts of happiness and riches that they will probably never reach in life. Then it was my turn. I told them that I would love to do something positive for the world by starting a clothing line that exclusively worked with second-hand clothing. Their very first response, "But don't you still eat meat?" So I thought, I want to do something great for the planet, but I can't because I'm not perfectly sustainable in my personal life. Well, in reality, this happened to somebody I know. I actually don't eat meat. You know that stuff is bad for the planet, right? But, well, I still like to drive a car. So something like this definitely could have happened to me. Where did we go wrong? When did a pragmatic problem such as climate change become so moralistic? Let me start out boldly by saying you do not need to be perfectly sustainable in your personal life to want to work on a more sustainable future for us all. I will spend the next 10 minutes moving away from what I now call the conservative approach to sustainability towards a new message of hope and opportunity. Let me give you another example. When Prime Minister Rutte of the Netherlands went to the climate change summit in Madrid last year, he was asked by the press if he would fly to the summit or if he would go there by train. Well, obviously he would fly, as he is a very busy man tasked with running an entire country. Subsequently, he was called out by the press as a hypocrite for going there by plane instead of taking a 15-hour train ride. Imagine if all world leaders would take 15-hour train rides or boat trips that would take weeks to get to Madrid. Not only would they not be able to do their jobs properly, it would cost so much money to pay all those officials for all those travel hours. Money that could have been invested in planting trees or in clean energy sources that would make 1,000 times the impact that not flying would. Everyone understands this to be true, and nobody would actually think Rutte would go by train. But still, he was considered a hypocrite. This is what we environmentalists have been doing. Telling everyone that a more sustainable world starts with your own actions in your own life, such as taking shorter showers, changing your diet, stop flying, stop driving, stop moving, stop breathing. Doing good for the climate is depicted as doing a lot of difficult stuff. And if you don't, then you are single-handedly guilty of destroying the world. Guilt has been the #1 weapon of environmentalists like us. Calling everyone that's not perfect a hypocrite is the #1 weapon of climate change deniers. Sustainability is defined as something moralistic, even semi-religious, like if the world dies, it's not my fault because I was a vegan. Planting trees to compensate carbon emission rather than changing your lifestyle is seen as insufficient, as there is no repentance of behavior. We are turning a practical problem into something utterly moralistic. Here's another example. Emitting carbon dioxide is not inherently morally wrong in any way. We emit carbon because we developed and created beautiful things like airplanes and cars to make our life better. The problem is that these emissions can no longer be balanced in the natural world and remain in our atmosphere, trapping heat that would have otherwise flowed into space. If carbon would not trap heat in any way, then we could be emitting whatever we want. That it does get trapped forms a huge problem that could potentially make life unbearable on Earth. Climate change is a practical problem, and it is time to tackle it in a pragmatic way. What we need to change the world are big changes. Changes on a much bigger scale than simply telling people that it's their own fault. Sometimes it seems like all we're told is, so you think sustainability is important, then change your own life. As if it's a personal problem that only affects you. Wake up. It's something that affects us all. Nobody owns the future. It's something that we'll all share and all have our part in shaping. Let me give you one more example of why the current approach doesn't fit anymore. We environmentalists have been telling people not to buy single-use plastics. But when you go to the supermarket, all you see is things wrapped in plastic. How on earth will you be able to realistically comply with this demand? Shouldn't we develop our skills and work on reducing plastics in packaging to develop actual viable and realistic alternatives? If you are able to choose between a plastic packaging or a sustainable one that is only a little bit more expensive, then we can demand from people to actually make that responsible choice. And if you still want to do something right now to not make the plastic soup worse, go around your neighborhood every once in a while and pick up all the plastics from the street and bushes. And you know what? That would actually make 1,000 times the impact that not buying single-use plastics would. As the responsible person you are, your plastics were probably never ending up in the ocean anyway. Plastic soup is a practical problem, so let's fight it in a pragmatic way. The message of guilt will only reach the small portion of millennials that already made being sustainable a part of their newfound identity. As a millennial, like me, all we ever wish for is to discover our identity and to become a part of something. Working at the Green Office of a university, I work with students every day. Students who are just discovering their life and independence, maybe for the first time living in a place of their own, or finding love, creating friendships for life, trying to succeed for exams and papers, working side jobs, exploring who they are, and trying to understand the world they live in. Do we really want to put the weight of the world on their shoulders in an unrealistic belief that their personal actions are the one thing we need to change the world? No wonder they don't identify with the subject, and their knowledge on the subject is remarkably low, despite all the media coverage. If sustainability is out there as a moralistic issue, and these values don't match with your own values, you bail out. Our research shows that 60% of the students want to do more to improve the world, but don't know how, and 90% of them do not identify with themselves with the current conservative approach to sustainability. The kind of pressure we lay on our young generation will only alienate them from the subject. Many students have told us that they are tired of the sustainability topic and are tired of being told that they're living their lives wrong. What we've been laying on them is a message of grim outlooks and condemnation, instead of a message of hope and opportunity. This is not the message that a young generation needs to thrive. So let's find a message that does bring hope and does bring opportunity, so we can include everyone in our battle to make the world a better place. And don't get me wrong, I do believe our choices matter. I just don't believe that guilt and pressure should be used to convey the message. So, what's the alternative? What we need is one message, clear and simple. You do not need to be perfectly sustainable in your personal life to want to work on a sustainable future. In fact, you do not need to be sustainable at all to work on sustainability if that currently does not yet fit into your life. You are still welcome to contribute. Develop your skills and tools to work on a brighter future. Use the knowledge of your area of expertise to improve on the world for the better. This is a message that includes everyone and that everyone can be a part of. And if you can't have any impact on climate change, you can always work on fighting poverty, inequality, or poor healthcare. Because that is what a brighter future needs to be. A healthy earth where everyone has a place and a right to live in. By taking a broad definition of sustainability that is not inherently moralistic, the message will have something for everyone to identify with. And we really need everyone on board, transcending identity and individual choices. Focusing on skills will take the moralistic aspect out of the equation. We should train and inform everyone on sustainability to empower them to contribute in their own way. Professional contribution first, personal contribution second. So how are we going to convey this new message? In my work, we have been doing everything we can to include everyone in the path towards improvement. Through education, awareness campaigns, and by using a broad definition of sustainability where everyone can identify with, we've been trying to get students on board, in their own way. I mean, doesn't everyone want to leave the world a better place than when they found it? Right now, many feel powerless in the awe of this global problem. We help develop their skills and broaden their frame of reference for them to be able to make their own decisions in life and decide on how they want to contribute to our common goals. No matter the field of study, all students have been able to identify with this new message. As a result, a new generation can actually feel empowered to contribute to work on a better world. Multinationals, small companies, governments, these are not lifeless entities. They are completely made up of people. And we need those people on board if we really want to constitute change. Empowering the new generation to develop their skills to work on a sustainable world in their professional life can be the one thing we need to truly make a difference. What we don't need is a generation completely stressed out in their personal life, feeling the weight of the world on their shoulders with every choice they make. Or even worse, a generation where the majority is already being pressured towards, not giving a crap anymore about some big world problem they don't feel they have any influence on, and a lifestyle they can't identify with. I want to finish off by saying, yes, the conservative method has been very important. By being alarmist, we have really been able to put sustainability topics on the agenda. And this has definitely served its purpose. However, the time has come for a new message. A message of hope and a message of opportunity. A message where everyone can identify with and everyone wants to work for. A message for us all. So let's abandon the conservative take on sustainability and move forward with a new, progressive approach. Let's leave no one behind.